Thanks for clicking. You listen to Time In with yours truly, Tommy Crenshaw. Ricardo Lungus, who is typically with me, is on vacation in some secret Camp David or whatever he does. It's not Camp David's for the president. So I don't want to compliment my cohort that much. It'll go to his giant head. But with me is the fan favorite, of course, is Anthony North, who has done an amazing job. And Anthony, we got a lot to talk about here now.
Oh yeah, we do, Tommy, we do. It's good to be here. Always good to be here. Always good to be on the show.
Yeah, there's an airplane I think flying over you. You got
crop dust. That's the we miss you, Ricardo. I paid for that. I know you can't see it. That was a mistake on my part.
Yeah. The radio is it's not visual. So, we're here to talk about the fight that happened, the Wilder Fury fight, and we talked about the last fight and the Joshua Cynic fight, which was I think you said the words like shadow boxing. I think that's how you just.
Oh yeah, I mean those guys were gentle. They were gently tapping each other. I think no one wanted to knock anyone out in that fight. That was a technical fight. There were a lot of punches thrown, pinpoint accuracy with very light effort. I would say that was not what I saw last night.
No. We saw an old school slugfest. I mean, it was two big body guys just going in. I mean, just pounding away. And okay, so I'll go with my takeaway on this thing. Okay, so great to watch. I mean, it's a spectacular event, well produced. And Vegas, where boxing is really it's the crown jewel of boxing. You gotta put it there. I don't want people say you bring Fury wants to fight in England, which is great. I mean, the last fight was there. It was in London. And nobody liked it. So, I mean, go to Vegas, the pounded place. Boxing cities. You think of boxing cities. Atlantic City's dead. All due respect to Tony Pascal, an old friend of mine, who's a big time player up there. Does a lot of behind the scenes. He's a go getter. Havana is gone. Been gone for decades. Nobody's boxing in Havana. Macau, I mean, you got to go to China, and it gets confusing what the rules are there because it's a Portuguese city, but it's not. It's China. So, where are your boxing cities? Give me your top 3 boxing cities there.
Yeah, I mean, well, to me, always, Manila. Beautiful place. Beautiful.
But no,
place.
Manila produced one of the greatest boxers of all time, who's going to be running for president, but who just retired. But that's not we're talking about international boxing city, where the world is watching kind of thing. I mean, Manila's a great place. I've been there a few times. Had a great time. Shout out to Jojo Rodriguez. A friend of mine lives down there and does a great time hosting parties and stuff like that.
But no, everything centers around Las Vegas.
But what's the other two? What's the other two? You do 3.
Well, you don't even need another.
You do because you want the boxing to continue the worldwide thing. I mean, Cynic, is in there. So the Ukrainians, the Russians were dominating for years. The British, Lennox Lewis, and now we got Fury, who's been dominating for a while now. It's an international sport. Rio de Janeiro would be a great one. Build that place up, right? Some places in South America. People are South Africa. You got Australia. You got lots of places you can put it. I mean, which I mean.
Oh yeah, I mean, you follow the Olympics. So wherever they built the infrastructure, just follow the Olympics. You put the thing in Seoul. You put the thing in Tokyo. You put it in Rio. Wherever you want. Wherever you want to see.
You're proving the point. Vegas is the only boxing city right now. Somebody needs to step up their game. I mean, we don't see for Americans. We got a lot of international listeners and stuff like that. But Americans, the playground before Vegas was Havana. And like I said, Havana's been decades. That's gone. Atlantic City was where people in Philly and New York went to go bury bodies in the swamp and stuff like that. And they just figured they'd build a city around it. And Vegas started the same way, basically. It was in the desert where the mob was putting. Anyway, I don't know anything about the mob. I don't want to speak. I don't want to speak.
We know what
We're getting into the weeds here.
You bankrupt the city, build a casino. You bankrupt the casino. We know the game.
But yeah, I don't. I mean, it just. And yeah, the Maloof brothers were trying to get Sacramento as like a boxing destination, which Sacramento is a beautiful place and a lot of great fighters from that. But yeah, anyway, we're getting to the weeds here. I think Honolulu, Hawaii, should be a boxing capital. I think that's where you put the competition, because you get all the people from the Asia countries and Australia's and places like that. But yeah, so getting back to the fight here. Yeah, so the there was a lot of hugging and holding in the fight, but the clown, I'm not going to say his name, the officiator, the guy thinks he's going to be the next Mills Lane. And Mills Lane, he was the Holyfield and Tyson, a guy, and then becomes this judge, like the Judge Judy, Joe Brown character, makes a lot of money. And so this guy's trying to get on the screen as much as he can. So he's popping in there. Guys, break it up. Guys, break it up. Fury, I told Fury, don't put him in the headlock. Don't put Wilder in the headlock. Wilder was putting himself in the headlock, trying to get, I think, Fury penalized. It was just, he put his head in that place. And so he kept going in there like every 3 seconds. Stop it, stop it, stop it. You know, it's just like, go to Catholic school and you got a nun that keeps slapping the back of your hand with a freaking yardstick. You know, and like, stop it, stop it. Stop trying to pull that gum out your pocket. Stop touching your face. Stop. It's like, you kind of like think, I mean, this nun, I would never hit a nun. But I'm telling you, I had a friend of mine that threw a chair at a nun. I think he's still in prison. Yeah, Tommy Rocks. You know, he had my name, and I got blamed for some of the stuff he did, because my name is Tommy, too. But Tommy Rocks threw a chair at Sister Mowgli. And, oh, yeah, she was not a looker. A good thing she had that penguin hat. I mean, geez. I mean, the hair. Somebody. I
mean, that's a rough time.
Yeah, it was a rough time.
You've been through some rough times.
Somebody pulled a penguin hat.
A penguin hat. Oh.
Yeah, the penguin hat. They pulled the penguin hat. They pulled it off her head, and then she had like singed split ends, like she had been putting her cigarettes out in the back of her head for 30 years. You know, the old nuns, they were smokers. Yeah, I mean, they didn't survive past 35, but they looked like they were 70.
Those sound like the kind of women Tyson Fury likes. Gypsy King. I think that's his fan base. Those are Tyson Fury fans.
Oh, they're definitely, and yeah, but yeah. So getting back to the referee guy was we got to get some young guys in there, grandpas going in there and say, split it up. I got to make some money for like a judge show I want to be on, and So Wilder was...
Yeah, that man was desperate for attention. Desperate for attention. You could hear him. He kept raising his voice. He's standing 6 inches from these boxers, screaming, stop it, stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Just break it up, ref. Break it up. You don't have to...
Allow them to fight their way out of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, these are grown men. We got 6'9" versus 6'7" boxers. They've already fought each other, 22 rounds prior to this fight.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. They know the drill. This is not something new to them.
And their last fight was against each other. I mean, as people forget, they weren't piling up bodies left and right. They were, because they signed a contract, they're going to focus on this one. That's what Boston kind of lost his way. I mean, you sign these contracts and they're exclusive. And you keep these guys all pampered. But Fury was there. Fury got, so there are 5 drops, right? Fury got dropped twice in the same round. Was it the 4th round?
Yeah, 4th round. Yeah, 4th round. Deontay was getting to it. Deontay was starting to connect. Got him off balance one. I think Fury kind of tripped a little bit. But that next one was a solid punch to the face.
Yeah, went down like a sack of potatoes. And but he's not Irish. Whatever the English version of a potato is, like a scone, went down like a sack of scones.
He's like a soft, unbaked scone.
Yeah.
I would say that's the best description of Tyson Fury.
Ooh, yeah.
A gigantic, soft, unbaked scone.
Oh, yeah, we'll go with that one. The unbaked scone gets dropped twice in the same round. But then Wilder gets dropped like twice. One is what rounds? Now I'm getting them confused because it's cut out a few swirlies in me, to be honest.
Well, I mean, Wilder was getting dropped every other round. I mean, Wilder was struggling after that 6th round. It was a fight, and it was unfortunately Wilder was taking most of the abuse. Fury was starting to connect, and I mean, the one punch I remember, Fury reaches around the world and comes back and connects And Wilder didn't see it coming. He was a little dazed. A lot of times I felt like Wilder's eyes weren't right.
Yeah.
He didn't look like he didn't look like he really saw, Fury that well. He was kind of just, dancing right into the punches. And I think, I looked at the punch count. I mean, come on, 140 punches. How can one man sustain?
Lot. Yeah, and a lot of those are head punches because Wilder was the one that was throwing a lot of body blows. Fury was going for the head most of the time, right? I mean, that's
Oh yeah, he messed him up. I mean, Wilder had blood coming out of his eyes and his ears, his nose, his mouth. I mean, it was a mess.
Yeah, it was. I mean, but he hung in there, and I think that the fact that I think there's a mismatch here. I mean, I think that Wilder's a great athlete. I think he's great. I think he's a bad sportsman. I mean, after that right. It was a right hook. It was just a right punch to the noggin, right in the center of the head that knocked him out. It took him out. And that ref was so quick to do counts. He was like a speed reader counter. He's like, yeah. But he, went in and it was like, okay, nothing to see here, that pals. 11 rounds. There's no Wilder. If he went another 2 rounds, he'd been dead. No
without a doubt. I mean, he did the right thing. I mean, he called the fight before Wilder even hit the mat. If you watch it, he takes the punch and Wilder starts to fall, and the ref's calling it off.
Stage.
He didn't even wait. He didn't even wait till he hit the mat.
Come on, no. Come on. Those days are gone. Stage games, matches, all the cameras and stuff like that. It's hard to stage a game now. So a match. It's just. Yeah, so I'll pull that one back there for the people listening. This game was not a fixed game. But I think that it was a great match. I mean, there's no question. This was old school.
No, this is one of the best. This is one of the best fights I've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, 2 guys, the top of the sport. You cannot find bigger fighters. These are the 2 biggest fighters going head to head,
and that's why Fury should face Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson wants to get back in, wants to fight. They should do that. I mean, and don't do an exhibition. I mean, Mike Tyson comes in. That'll be a crazy event.
Oh, we can't bring Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah, he wants to. I mean, you think he's going to get eaten up?
That's not fair. I mean, I know we think of Mike, back in the day.
Yeah, but
he's training. He's slowed down.
He's training. He's training. I'd pay. You know how much a pay-per-view would be for that thing? It'd be like about $400.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, everybody paid to see it, but I mean, it would be a bludgeoning.
A 400.
There's no man that can match Tyson Fury. When Tyson Fury's head is right, the body's the body. 280 pounds of baked scone. You just punch it, and then in your hand it barely even feels it. He just rolls with it. All night long, what I saw was Fury just rolls with the punch.
Well, yeah, he does. He takes it.
You never square him up. You never hit him straight on. I mean, he's always glancing. How a man that size can avoid punches? He's a master.
Now he's what? There's the kickboxer guy that wants to take him on. Who's this guy? The guy who's like a MMA guy. He's an all around guy. He's touting himself to be like, they talk themselves up. And, kickboxing. I mean, you had Randall Tex Cobb, who was a freak of nature. And he was a kickboxing champion, decides he wants to go to boxing. He does pretty well. He even fought Muhammad Ali in an exhibition game. I mean, that's exhibition, I get that, but still, it's more than, back then, sparring is what the real fights look like these days. But Tex Cobb, not be confused with Randall Cobb, the NFL great. But, but this guy that's coming up, what's his name?
Dillian White. Yeah,
Dillian. Is it Dillian or Dylan? I think he's spelled cool. He's trying to
he spells it kind of funny.
Yeah,
I'm not sure he knows
Dylan,
how to say it.
Dylan White.
Dylan White. We'll just call him the Dylan White Fluffy.
Fluffy,
kickboxer.
Well, Fluffy's that comedian guy. You can't use that name, right? The big.
He's not funny. He's not a funny Fluffy. He's the mean Fluffy.
Okay, yeah, that's a big difference.
The mean Fluffy.
Yeah, I remember being in an alley in Jersey City, and it was just some guy said, "We could go down here and meet some girls. We go through this alley. Anytime you go through an alley and meet some girls, red flags go up. But there's some alley cats that was sitting on top of dumpsters, staring you down like crows." And you go down there, and he was taking a stick and knocking them off the dumpsters. I'm like, you don't do that to those cats. I mean, they could have rabies or steroids or something. And one of the cats jumped and hit my friend Tony in the face and was clawing him up. And my buddy Rob said, leave him behind. We got to keep going. And the next day in the papers, we saw what happened to the guy. So yeah, fluffy doesn't mean that. Getting into the weeds here now. Fury was doing the singing and the American Idol stuff. He was doing the walking in Memphis by that one-hit wonder that nobody remembers his name. No disrespect. I'll probably see him in concert next year. But so he did change it to Vegas, blue suede shoes, and then he's doing like Man United, whatever. I don't want to confuse his Premier League singing match game. Yeah, it's just So anyway, so what's the wrap up here now?
Well, the wrap up here is Deontay Wilder really is a man without a mission at this point. He had his chance. He got the third fight. We were hoping that Wilder comes out victorious. It sets up a beautiful chance to even this. It was one draw, one win. This was Wilder's fight. He brought everything he had. It just wasn't enough.
And then what happened after the fight?
Well, after the fight, Wilder, a little sour grapes on Wilder's part. He felt like he didn't, maybe the fight wasn't fair, or maybe Fury was maybe leaning on him, maybe a few rabbit punches. Wilder was in his feelings, didn't want to make a comment, didn't want to say anything, to the public. But it was clear, Tyson Fury felt like this man did not show him the respect he deserves. He said that Wilder just didn't want to show him the sportsmanship and respect. And he'll pray for him. And that's a good man.
That's a statesman. That's a great man. And he even thanked him. He said, "Thanks for coming out, y'all." You keep in mind, this guy, he's a Brit, which gets complicated what you call a Brit, but he's a Brit. And he trained in Detroit. You got to keep in mind, I mean, this guy was trained under Sugar Hill Stewart. I mean, you came from his dad was, training some great fighters. And, so the Gypsy King versus the Bronze Bomber. The Bronze Bomber bombed, and the Gypsy King stole the purse. And that's the end of the game. Thanks for listening to Time In, TTFN.